Hi and welcome to Pencils and Stories, the place that helps you get your story and art projects started and done. My name is Henrike Dijkstra. I come from the Netherlands and I'm a blogger, a writer and a comic artist. I make my weekly webcomic Recollection City. It's a half-Victorian adventure story that talks about finding your voice and finding the courage to make the tough choices. I've also blogged on pencilsandstories.com for over a year, and there I talked about how Recollection City came to be, about my struggles and my obstacles and how I overcame them, and basically how to be more productive. And I am very passionate about this subject because before I did all this, I was stuck in art block for years. And I had all these ideas and dreams and stories in my head, but they just couldn't come out, and it was a very, very frustrating time in my life. I've been drawing and writing for all of my life basically, and now it was just stuck. And then eventually I did a really great art class that gave me some tools but also really helped me to get started on projects. And one of the other most important things about that class was that I got in touch with so many other artists, and I saw that they were struggling with the same things I was struggling with. They ran into the same obstacles, and just talking with them really helped me to understand a lot of things better. And with all of that, I slowly crawled out of my art block. I started creating again, started really small, and then eventually that expanded. Fast forward a few years later, I'm finally realizing my dream of making my own webcomic. And now I'm building the Pencils and Stories, a website and brand to help others do the same thing I did, which is make your own art projects become a reality. I want to help you make your own stories and help you tell them visually. The videos will feature tips on how to get started, how to be more productive, how to stay motivated, about project management, art tips. We'll do some story analysis. We'll also talk about how you can overcome your obstacles and how to make projects more manageable for yourself. It's definitely not all going to be comics, even though there will be comic-specific things. Stories are amazing. Ever since I was a kid, I would consume countless of stories, books, pictures, movies, all the cartoons and TV. I would watch them all. And I vividly remember watching The Little Mermaid when I was around 6 years old, and that made me fall in love with feature animated movies. And while watching that, I was very aware that Ariel was made by somebody and that she was not real. And in fact, the entire movie were made up of drawings, and I could maybe not put words to it yet or really figure out how that all worked. But I knew that movie was made and those characters were made by somebody. And that started my lifelong wish of wanting to create characters and worlds and stories that moved me in the way that these movies did. I know that a lot of you fellow artists have probably some kind of experience like this. And I know that you recognize the drive to tell your own stories, to make worlds and characters and places, and that you want to tell stories that touch people's hearts. But you're probably also working on these stories on your own, in your free time, and sometimes these bigger projects can be daunting. You don't have to do it alone. My wish for Pencils and Stories is that it will grow not just into a resource that people go to get their story projects kind of going and finished, but also that it will turn into a community where artists come together to support each other and to encourage each other to create and complete their story projects. If you want to stay up to date on everything and not miss any updates, you can also subscribe to my email list. The link to that is in the description below, or it's on pencilsandstories.com. The people on my email list get more tips, more resources, and more inspiration. For now, I want to thank you so much for watching. Happy art making, and I'll see you around.